Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Starin Town Hall. My name is Chris Neto. I am the Market Development Manager here. And today I am joined by the lovely folks from Logitech. And I'm going to go through and introduce. There are a number of panelists here with us today to help and assist and drive questions and answers and all the cool things that you guys want done. But joining us today is Michael, Pike, and Kristin. They're off to the side right now, and they're ready to start the presentation. Just some housekeeping tips. I want to get this out of the way. Your questions and answers go into the Q&A section of the Zoom call. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask, please go ahead and drop it into the Q&A section. We try to hold off all the questions until the end. And as far as asking the questions and answering the questions. So we're going to go through the presentation and then go through the Q&A. The other thing is, I know that a lot of you are here for Logitech, but there's a couple of you that are here just because we do offer a prize at the end. And if you're going to be here and hang out, I will tell you who the prize winner is at the end. So you have to stick around to the end in order to hear who won. But outside of that, I'm going to be, first off, we're going to go ahead and hand off the first part of the presentation, or the welcome message. Let's talk to Michael. Michael, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How is everybody today? I'm Mike Freibrun. As it says, I'm the channel account manager, or whatever, national account manager in the distribution channel. I manage all of Starin for all parts of Logitech. And I welcome everybody here. I'm the normal contact for everything, but I invited two people, which is Pike and Kristin. And Pike will explain his role, but he is the brains behind everything that we do. Kristin is our marketing manager, and she's the other brains behind everything I do. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Pike, for an intro, and then Kristin, then we can get into this.
Sounds great.
Yeah, nice to meet everyone. You get to have not one, but two of me, and maybe eventually three. I'm Pike. I'm a solution engineer working closely with our distribution team and the folks at Starin. And of course, Mike is keeping me busy as well. So looking forward to kind of walk you through our solutions and also provide a live demo. So that's a little bit about me. Nice to meet everyone. Thanks for joining.
Kristin, if you'd like, introduce yourself.
She's got to get herself off mute. Kristin.
So sorry. Hi, everyone. Kristin Beare. As Mike mentioned, I'm channel marketing manager. So I work closely with the folks at Starin to get all the latest and greatest information about Logitech out to you guys. Thanks for joining today.
Sounds great. So Pike, you're going to go ahead and show us some cool things in 3 different screens all at once, because if you guys notice, there is Pike, there's demo Pike, there's meeting room Pike, and yeah, there's a lot that we're in the multiverse right now. This is how we operate. It's not just in the Marvel universe; it is now in the UC universe and the Starin universe. So there's multiple versions.
And really, we want to do something different. I mean, I've done some of these before, and it was generalized. So there's lots of questions about Logitech, what we do, how we do it, why are we better? There's other competition out there, but Pike's going to take you through some really cool stuff and show you what we're all about.
That's great.
I'm going to zip it now.
No,
Cool.
that's
Mike, the show is yours.
Great intro. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. We're going to start with a PowerPoint, but it's not a PowerPoint. I want to make sure that everyone understands that I, refer to these as visual aids. And this is just helping kind of share the story, paint a picture, have a conversation, right? So I'm not going to PowerPoint you to death, but I think these visuals will really help as we are going to walk you through exactly to what Mike was saying, right? Why Logitech? What do we do different than our competitors? How have we disrupted this market? And what are we doing next? And you can already see a lot of that, what we're doing next. You can see the Logitech site fly by. We're looking at focus rooms. There's so much in this space, and this space is ever growing. So that being said, we're going to talk about spaces and how they have evolved, and then scale. Scale is an important part because, as a partner, you need to be able to scale with your customer, and your customer needs to have that room to scale up, or sometimes, scale down. And that's where, selling the right solutions that can scale and can really cover your customers' needs end to end is that, something that is very unique to Logitech. And we'll jump into that in more detail. And then, as we all, saw during the pandemic, everyone was working from home. We had our own little box. We go back to the office and, that's no longer the case. And that's something that we have, quite frankly, got used to and something that we, I think we all kind of desire because it just drives engagement. And, recent survey that came out of several, from different companies without going into details, but all of them had in common that, that remote participant didn't feel that they were really as part of that conversation, that meeting. So what can we do to make them more feel that they're inclusive, that they're part of that they see the visual cues as if they're present, right? So these are the real three key topics I really want to kind of, unfold and cover. And then we're going to jump into a demo, maybe even two, if we have enough time. And then, of course, most importantly, your questions, right? Looking forward to your questions. So today we're going to focus, of course, on the conference space. But I think it's important to know for everyone joining us today, and thank you for making the time, is that Logitech is very uniquely positioned, and more than ever, those strengths are really, really being put to the test, and it's driving our innovation even further, because it's no longer just the conference room, and the home office. Now, even the home office, is really in dire need of better solutions, which we can cater to. But then we also have the on-the-go. I love these Zone True wireless earbuds because they are my on-the-go, Zoom certified earbuds, right? With built-in noise cancellation. And then they have a cool feature like transparency mode. So if I order my coffee at Starbucks, I can double press the earbud and it's like a hearing aid, right? I can actually hear the barista. And then when I want to go back and work from Starbucks or wherever I have to do emails or even have a conversation on a video call, I can just double press it and tune out the rest of the world and focus on my customer, right? And then, there's so much more. How do we work in these shared spaces, the focus rooms, the fixed spaces, right? And again, this is where Logitech is very uniquely positioned. So there's a lot more to learn. Definitely recommend to, visit also our website where you'll discover there is so much more that we can offer. But today I'm really excited to really jump into the conference room solutions and how we're building that out. Now, these team spaces, as we really kind of call them, have gone a long way, right? There's so much more than just the conference room. We need a lot more. People just do not no longer accept having a conference solution. They need a lot more. The rooms need to be more flexible. You need to be able to maybe extend the meeting or end the meeting, right? How can we be more efficient with these spaces? And how can we also, really kind of grow our collective creativity with teams, right? I go into the office to really be there with my colleagues and brainstorm, right? And how do we accommodate for the remote participant to also feel engaged? So we're going to also, cover that as well. And then the flexibility is key, right? The last thing what we want to do is for our customers to run into hurdles and not being able to do the things that they need to do in these spaces. Now, with that comes scale. Scale is such an important factor to being able to provide not just the right solution for room A, but really A, B, C, D, all the way to the end, right? And being able to not just provide the hardware, but also most importantly, add the software. What can we do to help you provide the tools for your customers, allowing them to scale from a hardware side, but also from a software perspective? Think of, IT decision makers and the IT admins, the amount of responsibilities that are thrown at them nowadays, it's a much larger list, right? So they don't have the manpower a lot of times to even be on site. And also, it's not really an efficient way of managing these rooms. And this is where, with our Logitech Sync platform, we can help scale better as well. What scale also means is being able to actually outfit every single room size. And this is, a core strength of Logitech, that we can actually cover the end-to-end spaces. So small, medium, large, or even going beyond, where we have partners with our, DSPs. Think of Usa, Shure, Biam. And then, of course, the other space that we're not covering is the work from home space, right? So that's very unique to Logitech. And what's also important is that all of this can be managed by IT and can be managed remotely, right? So that's an important factor. The other unique thing that we can offer for our customers, that every single solution we can outfit as an appliance-based solution. So having it built into the rally bar, for instance, or in these larger spaces, bring our roommate, which is also a very unique. Again, that's another disruptor that we brought to the market, because we now have an actual appliance-based solutions for these larger spaces, giving IT the same management platform as the small, medium, and large that are running appliance-based solutions. That being said, all of these solutions can also be bundled with our PC bundles as well. So again, I think the point that you're seeing that I'm trying to make is, with scale comes choice. And that's where we are very uniquely positioned. And of course, when we look at this space, there's a lot that we can do here, right? From whiteboarding solutions, may that be an analog or digital experience. And we'll dive into the details, things like conventional whiteboards, or, a touch panel, as you kind of see, behind me here. And then room controllers. We're very uniquely positioned that we actually can give you the choice between different room controllers. Another key component is, these room accessories, right? We don't have time today to dive into all the details, but our Switch is really the best in class BYOD solution. There's nothing else out there. This is also a disruptor. I've seen this, where partners will try to build something off the shelf, and it's just not possible. This is purpose built. It's not just bypassing the room with an HDMI switch and a USB extender. It's really its own accessory, and providing a single connection to completely take over the room, and now be able to run it from your laptop and have access to the camera, the speakers, the microphones, right? The other important part is that, what can we offer to the customer beyond just going with conventional warranty? Now, we definitely, first of all, it's important because not every competitor out there offers 2 years warranty. So everything that we sell comes with a 2-year warranty. Now, we, of course, allow you to sell additional warranty to your customers, right? You can add another year, so that's 3, or go up to 5. We want to do more. And what we've recently launched is our Logitech Select, which really caters to you and your customer. This is a great opportunity how you can leverage our service solution and tie it in with yours. And what this will do for you is a tremendous amount of customer engagement when something is failing. And what I mean by that, so if there is an issue, right? We provide full standard support, right? That is 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. This is a little different. A Select customer, they don't even actually have to call support. They actually have a service portal, and on that service portal, they file a ticket. And within 60 minutes, that's our top SLA. Right now, I think we're averaging 20. The actual support agent, which we don't look at them as agent, I need to stop saying agent. They are technical service partners, and they partner with either yourself or the customer and make sure that they resolve the issue. They will also go to battle for you if there is an issue that is related to a bug that may be a Logitech bug or a Zoom bug, or sometimes these bugs are on both sides, right? Again, Zoom, our partnership with Zoom and Logitech, we want to fix these, but they really champion. I've seen these technical service partners on calls that I'm on with our customer support team, and they're really working on pushing out and making sure that these bugs are getting fixed. So it's a whole different experience, right? You can call them 24/7, right? And then again, when I say call, it's really file a ticket, they call you. So it's a complete different experience. The other thing that's included is you get, we talked high level about our remote management solution sync, which we're going to revisit in a later slide. But with that comes, that's entirely free. But we have an additional service, which is Sync Plus, and that is additional data analytics. How are these rooms being leveraged? How are these rooms being used? And with Select, you actually get that Sync Plus included. So you can actually see how many rooms are being scheduled. How busy are they? Are they 9 to 5 used? Do you maybe need more small or large rooms, etc. Right? So that's all included. The RMA process. Also, the standard RMA is usually within 5 business days, and depending on the week. So it's like, think about 5 to 7 days, right, for the replacement unit to arrive. With Select, next day RMA, and that can be key. Again, this is helping your customer scale, being able to do so. And if you outfit Select, and again, warranty is included, right? And the warranty is a little bit different. It's not just the warranty that you're purchasing separate for, like, our rally bar that you see there, right, and behind me. And now you have to maybe decide to put warranty on the room controller and the tab scheduler outside, right? So all these components that you see here, it's all included. It's one service package that also provides the warranty end to end with next business day replacement. If a customer is outfitting this for 50 plus rooms, they also get on-site spares. So they can say, okay, our boardroom needs to be completely always up and running. Something happens, God forbid, we need to replace it. If something drops, something falls, whatever happens, we need to quickly swap it out. So you can get that dedicated room, and we provide on-site spares for everything. And then, of course, then you actually are assigned a designated service manager, right? So that is kind of Select in a nutshell. Let's jump into some of the other, components, accessories that really help you and your customer scale. And that, again, it comes with, go ahead.
Question. It came in actually via internal to me on a message. I don't have the answer for it. Does the Logitech Sync replace ZDM?
That is a great question. And I've made a slide specifically for that, and we're going to get to that.
Awesome.
So hold that thought, and we're going to dive into that. And whoever asked that question, thank you. That's a very important point. I'm going to first answer it quickly. The answer is no, it's not replacing it. It is really a companion. And we'll dive into a little bit more why you should be actually using both. So great question. Keep them coming, team. And Chris, please interject. I want to make sure that if these questions are critical, let's get to them, and we're going to make sure that we make time for all of that.
I will be objecting the entire time. I'll rule for objection. Now you've opened up those floodgates. Forget about it.
I know. I like opening up the can of worms. So choice, right? This is where we are very uniquely positioned. Where are we also different? And I'll get to that, right? A room controller in our book is a room controller. It is not a scheduler. We make a dedicated scheduler, and we are a design company. We want things to look and feel good and purpose-built. We believe in purpose-built products, and that allows us to do a lot more, right? So this is the room controller, but our room controller comes in 2 different flavors. We have TAP, as I like the nickname TAP USB, and then we have TAP IP. Different price point, different plus benefits, right? And it all depends the customer needs and what they're setting up, right? So the TAP is a great solution because it also provides HDMI ingest at the table. Now, some might challenge, well, Zoom has made it stupid simple to share wireless. You hit the share button, you're done. It's great. There are some of these scenarios where it could be a customer that has a very restrictive network. They bring in outside consultants. They don't have network access. Maybe they are not even allowed to use their hotspot, right? Allowing to do sharing when, a network could be a challenge is still a great opportunity. So for some customers, that HDMI ingest is just a must. And the nice thing is that you don't have to worry about, running a separate cable for that, right? Sorry, let me go one slide back. It's just simply runs across, as you can see here, and connects back to either the room PC or directly to the rally bar. Now, TAP IP of course, allows you to be a little bit more flexible, right? You don't have to connect back into the front of room compute or the all-in-one conference solution, right? Like the Rally Bar, for instance. You can connect it anywhere. It can do wireless and wired, right? It also then gives you two different colors. And with Zoom, the benefit, you can also mix and match. Like we have a large conference room, we have the tap, and then we added a secondary tap IP on the other side of the table. So you can actually add multiple. That's something very unique to Zoom, which I absolutely love for those larger rooms. So definitely keep in mind, you can sell more than one for some of these larger rooms. Keep in mind, it has to be tap IP. You can only add one tap, of course. So, and this is kind of a little, slide. We like to internally call them turbo slides because they kind of cover everything on the tap, right? Just high level cable management. We're going to cover that, but you can see there's great cable management on the hardware. It has HDMI ingest. It's compatible with everything. We have different mounting solutions, as you can see above there. But then we also did a partnership with Heckler. So in case you don't want to have it permanently mounted, but you want to change the angle. And we haven't talked about the angle. I really like this angle. And we've seen this a lot from our customers. This works well in many rooms. Now, in some larger rooms, you want to have a different angle. And that's where, having kind of our riser mount or the Heckler stand is great because that gives you that 30-degree angle. Now let's cover tap IP. So very similar, but of course, what we just covered on everything kind of applies, but the biggest difference is different colors. And it has, of course, also Wi-Fi as a network connection. So you can have a PoE drop directly or the Wi-Fi connection. So I'm going to kind of switch through that quickly. I did want to show this cool little video. So these mounts really swivel nicely. This is very clean. They're not going to go missing. We also have a wall mount in these huddle spaces, right? You don't have that real estate. You don't have that space. You can just mount it on the wall as well. So let's talk a little bit more about, with scale comes also just demand for more AI. And then that's what we're doing with Rally Bar and Rally Bar Mini, leveraging that second camera, which is technically an AI viewfinder. Another benefit that AI viewfinder has is it's 150 degrees, right? So when I walk into the room, even if the tap is positioned, the tap has a motion sensor. So just real quick, right? You could see there's a motion sensor here. Now that works well, but maybe not if it's wall mounted, right? So the benefit of the Rally Bar Mini is that AI viewfinder will also automatically wake it up. And we have native HDMI CEC control when you're running it in appliance mode. So we can not only wake up the machine, which again, PCs can do as well. We can actually make sure that it gets yanked back to HDMI 1 if, God forbid, someone changed the source, right? All of that is done through the Rally Bar and Rally Bar Mini. And Roommate as well, for that matter. So another key importance, and that becomes so important because it's not just about distance. Yes, we have very powerful built-in microphones, right? We have a 6 beamforming microphone array in here. That's great. It's very powerful. It can do up to 15 feet. I mean, I've seen a Zoom webinar where they demoed it at 30, which we really don't advise. But yes, we're very conservative with our rating. I still recommend using 15 feet as a guideline. The other thing I'm going to mention, right? During the pandemic, we all became critics, meaning most of us joined with good audio. We had headsets on, so people are used to really hearing everyone loud and clear. When you're using a built-in microphone array, that works great if these rooms are acoustically treated or they have carpet and they don't have glass all over the place. Some of these rooms are absolutely beautiful the way that they're designed and how they're managed by facilities, but they are terrible for acoustics. Audio bounces everywhere. So the fact that we actually have mic pods that work and we support, right? And it's not a mic pod built into a room controller. It's a standalone, beautiful mic pod that can be really complementary to the actual look and feel of that room, and adding multiple, right? These cover 15 feet. They can be daisy chained. You can, again, we'll talk a little bit more about what you can do with them, but I would definitely position mic pods even in rooms where I only maybe need 15 feet. But if it's brick or glass or there's a lot of echoing, this room is absolutely terrible right now. I still need to work on my office. However, I'm using earbuds, right? So I'm bringing the human voice close, so it doesn't care, even though I hear my own voice bounce. So mic pods, huge factor. We can also, in these rooms where they, kind of move around, having the ability to install them in the ceiling up to 13 feet. If that ceiling is higher or you want to bring it closer, then we have a beautiful mic pod pendant as well. Switching gears a little, and again, all of this really, that main theme is scale, right? And scale can mean many, many different things. But this is the long story short is we need to help you scale so you can help your customer scale and accommodate to, more and more people want video everywhere in all kinds of different rooms, sizes, different challenges, right? And our accessories that we build with our products allow us to scale with those different room configurations. Another important factor is, and we are quite frankly surprised that right now competition is just not taking note of this, and usually, just like the automotive industries, we everyone kind of steals from each other, and that's fine. We want to drive innovation, and overall things just need to be better. But one core principle with all our products is cable management. As boring as it sounds, we are super excited about it, because what does cable management mean? Well, it means that the end user can't just yank out a cable. And you'd be surprised how often that happens, because someone wants to be smarter, or they want to connect their phone to charge it. You name it. There's so many reasons why this is key. The cable management on the tap, for instance, is so well designed that you can grab it and lasso it around. Trust me, you can do that. If this is installed correctly, cable's not going to go anywhere, because that elbow is going to take care of that. Properly secured with that grommet. And the same thing for that HDMI cable with the tap. And again, this is applied all over our products. You can see the mic pop model, that cable spool secures it, so you don't have that extra slack. So Logitech Sync, very important. It is free. I highly recommend to have that conversation, test it out, set it up yourself. It really allows you to have that entire overview from, being able to have that visual overview of, okay, here's my room. This is all the hardware. What is connected? If anything got disconnected, right? Our sync portal also covers all the accessories, and you have that really quick visual of the entire room, right? So you can see if a mic pod got disconnected, if the room controller got disconnected. All of that can be seen through sync. And again, ZDM is very important. It's a great tool, but the way that the environment is designed is is primarily to really focus on the Zoom environment, looking at the call quality, how these Zoom rooms are functioning. The hardware is present there as well. And Zoom actually uses our Sync API. The thing is, we are constantly building new features. And, you have to kind of also look at, it's up to Zoom to decide, are they going to put those features in? How are they going to prioritize that? And where are they going to position that? So, think of Sync as complementary to ZDM, and it's going to have a lot of additional functions. Like just with Zoom, you can do a lot of bulk changes, but they're primarily for how the room operates, not necessarily the hardware settings, right? With Sync, you can also do these bulk changes by enabling the way that the audio is configured on these rally bars, right? You can enable reverb control or disable that, or there's a lot of toggle switches that we can now do from a bulk perspective. So it's definitely a great add-on. It's free. And then keep in mind, with Sync Plus, now you're going to get data analytics. And what we're really excited about is that we are looking at also capturing the data analytics, not just from meetings that are happening with a remote participant. If the two of us, maybe myself and Chris, are just brainstorming in a room, I'm just presenting, that's a meeting too. So that's what is going to get captured over time as well. So there's a lot of value. One of my customers that uses our solutions with Zoom, he also said, Pike, I like to have this redundancy, right? There was one scenario where there was a small outage on ZDM. he has sync, and he was worried that his rooms were offline, but sync showed him that they were online. So again, we could do a dedicated one on just sync. There's so much to cover, but we just don't have enough time for that. But highly recommend as again, better together, right? So let's jump into meeting equity, because that's going to get us soon to an actual exciting demo. I think that's really important, right? And as we talked about, we all remember these days, right? And that's where I'm going to kick it up a notch, and I'm going to go ahead and move my card here. Make it a little bit more interactive. So. All right, so you see this big, beautiful white wall and closet, and that concludes the demo. No, just kidding. So what are we going to demo here today? And we just spoke about, the good old, well, I was going to say good old days. That's just a terrible joke. But when we're all cooped up inside and we had, our own meeting tiles, right? We go back to the office, and now you're looking at a room, with everyone around the table. But what if so we have Eddie, let's put Eddie here. John Wick. Let's start over here. It's a good starting point. Let's see here. There we go. So it's going to analyze where they are positioned. And now they're getting their own separate tile. And then, of course, you also see the separate meeting space there on the right. Now, that's not a meeting room. It's just a wall. So just pretend with me. Now, you may have seen this from competitors. And we demoed this at Zoomtopia. And, what was unique to Logitech is all the competitors out there right now can show the room and 3 streams. As you can see, and with 3 streams, I mean the room as well. We actually do 5. We can do 5 separate streams. And sorry, I'm going to change it up. It's like, there we go. Let's put her in there. Awesome. Well, let's get the laughs. So this is very unique to Logitech, where we can provide you 5 separate streams. Now, this is recently released. We're still fine-tuning that. So what you've seen, I've already seen a beta, which is going to be eventually, released over time, where we're constantly going to try to crop other participants out of the frame. So you can see that one here. And that's the reason why she's there, because they're positioned rather close together, which in most scenarios, that wouldn't be the case. They would be kind of being positioned where the seating arrangement is. So that would be more like this. Now, that being said, it's smart enough, and I'll try to disrupt it here in a second. So let me just readjust. This is more kind of the distance between. And you'll see, again, it's accommodating to that and then trying to position where it is. So 5 different streams. There we go. And usually I've also didn't center the camera. So now it's centered in the room, and it can actually towel everyone perfectly. So now if someone is disrupting, this is a little bit hard because I'm a much different size, of course. It understands that it needs to now we are sharing a tile, and it's not going to start multiplying me all over the place. It only sees me in the entire room view, and it decided to kind of break up the stream. So it is definitely looking at adjusting based on the distance of people. And we're just getting started. We're doing some exciting things in this to further fine-tune this. Now, what's interesting here is you may have seen this demo before by some of our competitors. And what happens is it is positioned as a one-fits-all, as this is great. And what never comes into the conversation is what I'm going to bring into the conversation. And that is, I love this technology, but this technology is designed for small and medium spaces, and it works great. But what about the boardrooms? What about the large spaces? Well, that's a great question. I'm just asking myself, right? So, well, that's a great question, Pike. Let's talk about that here in a second. And that will be a segue after this slide. But I'm going to actually show you in a second how we can also accommodate to these much larger spaces as well. But before that, I wanted to also share with you a recent update that we brought to market. Some of you may know that the Rally Bar and Rally Bar Mini and Roommate, all our solutions have two HDMIs. You can select two monitors. Very unique to Zoom. They support also a 3-screen environment. Kind of showing the content in the middle and then all the participants left and right. A lot of C-suite executives like this in certain rooms. We actually are now supporting this with the latest update. And what's exciting about this is not just the Rally Bar, it's all our CollabOS devices. Rally Bar Mini. So maybe it's a slightly smaller room for C-suite, but they still want that 3-screen experience. Or the Roommate with a larger room with maybe a DSP. So with this dongle, and there's actually two on our release notes, this kind of has a built-in driver, and you just leverage one of our USB-A ports, and you're good to go. That's all that needs to be done. So let's go back to what I just brought up, right? The fact that, Grid View is our technology. But again, that technology, what you just saw, works with Zoom, with Microsoft Teams. It's going to be soon working with Google. We have a very strong partnership. We're going to showcase this at InfoComm. We're going to showcase a lot more at InfoComm, including our Logitech site. And what site will do, this is not a standalone product. This is an accessory to the Rally Bar or Rally Plus. But with the Rally Bar, we're really leveraging that additional AI technology. This is going to allow us to take this a step further. And with a step further, also further down the meeting room, right? So being able to capture the audience at a farther distance, right? And more participants. And then also capturing the sidebar conversation. So now I'm just showing you two so you can kind of see what's happening. But of course, once we're building this out with Zoom, they're probably going to focus primarily on, of course, the separate streams. So they're having a conversation. I'm joining remotely, right? I'm not just looking at the side of people's heads, right? I actually can see these visual cues, it's just like you're sitting at a restaurant with a couple of friends and two of them are having a conversation and you're just kind of observing the jokes or the heated debate or whatever is taking place, right? You want to be part of that. And that's where Site really provides that. Now, we don't have, of course, enough time to go into all the details of Site. Anyone that's planning to go to InfoComm, I invite you to come to our booth, talk to your Starin representative. We can maybe even coordinate something because I will be there and more than happy to walk you through. But as you can see, this is going to be a great add-on to the Rally Bar. And how does it work? So it's really understanding, okay, at launch, you're going to kind of see what you saw in the first video. We're just going to show kind of a composite view, the separate tiles. Over time, with further updates, probably coming more during the fall time, we're going to build something like an AI director. So what that is doing, it's going to constantly understand, okay, I'm looking at the Rally Bar or I'm looking at Bob and transition back and forth, right? And so it's a great experience. Also, this is not a 360-degree camera that has a lot of artificial stitching. We looked at some of these products. What they do is they're standalone and they fail because they capture this, face-to-face conversation at the table. But if I'm now looking at the front of the room, that's all you're seeing, right? This is where you get best of both worlds. And then it also is one of our mic pods. It has 7 beam-forming mics built in, so it can capture that, right? It has a privacy cover that is magnetic. The height is perfect because the height is not too high that it's covering the table, but it's high enough that my laptop that sits in front of it is not going to cover the camera. And then the mute button is not on the top, so we're going to cover the camera. It's positioned on the bottom. And then it accommodates, of course, our different product portfolios, so also the white Rally Bar as well. Can everyone still see my screen? I just got a quick, I was almost signed out. Yeah, sorry, that was my bad because I had my Zoom admin on here. Fail. All right, so do a quick time check. I think we're good. We're going to fast forward very quickly through this, but it's still an important story to tell. And it's all about, really whiteboarding and collaboration. And this is, again, a product that we purpose built to capture that whiteboard experience. There are scenarios where you kind of need that two-way feedback, that two-way collaboration, but a lot of times it's just leveraging the whiteboard in that space and then sharing it with remote participants. This is a great add-on. It's at a price point that you can really scale this and put this across many rooms or all your rooms, depending on the customer's needs. And it helps the in-person participants, right? Because it's not her fault, but she's kind of, covering, right, half of the whiteboard, right? I can't see it, but I can easily see it right there, right? So there are so many advantages to that. You can record the meeting, and now you have the entire whiteboard session, because we've all seen it. You walk into a room and it says, do not erase, and it sits there for 6 months, and then it might be confidential and people are just joining calls with whoever. So there are so many advantages to that. Now, that being said, right, and we'll jump into this quickly. Just wanted to quickly show you that we also have a clever polarizer. So if there is a lot of sun glare, we can cover that. Cable management is built in that. There's an easy button to share content, but you can also share the scribe using the Logitech tab as well. It can entirely ghost the remote participant, or you can also, hide the entire participant so you only see the whiteboarding. And it can do sticky notes as well. And let's talk about our approach to digital whiteboarding and how we do not actually offer an all-in-one at this point. We're still observing the market, but time and time again, we see that customers want choice and flexibility. And then there is the inherent risk that if you buy an all-in-one conference touch panel, right, an all-in-one solution, is that, well, one, you're bound by that size. If the camera fails or the touch panel fails, you're out the entire system. This modular approach, you can pick your own size. You can pick your own manufacturer. Maybe you really like what Avacor brings to market, or LG or Samsung or Dell, right? Choice is key. Your own size, again, and this is a great approach. The benefit too that we bring, right, very quickly, is that the Rally Bar Mini, right, it's full PTZ. So in these open spaces, instead of a fixed digital lens, we can physically move the lens, so we can cover a lot more. So if there's a meeting and someone's standing in that corner, we can still capture him or her. And then with the roommate, we can create this great companion experience, either on a cart or dedicated panel on the wall. And you can just add the whiteboard experience to that dedicated room. Again, that doesn't need a camera. This comes again where, the roommate is a great add-on, because I don't need a camera on that in that space, right? I just need that as a companion. So again, another great example of our roommate, which is such a great approach to looking at bringing appliance mode everywhere. You can have it as a dedicated digital signage, which Zoom also offers, being able to play in these much larger spaces, right? So there's a lot that we can offer there. Quickly switching it back up to scheduler. I'm going to not do the actual demo. I have a scheduler here. That's where I had all these cameras set up. We're going to skip over that. I want to just high level remind everyone, and then this is something I have the conversation with our sales reps too. A lot of times I, start with scheduler first. And actually the most important thing, use case, whatever you want to call it, that scheduler brings is something that I can demo. And it's exactly this. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, there's a meeting going on. I'm sorry to interrupt. That is very unprofessional. That is disruptive. And this outside that wall will protect you from that, right? Not every room has glass, right? That's use case number one. There's so many more use cases, right? The other use case is being able to extend time, right? I can walk up here. I can decide to, extend my meeting. I can also check out. I can also tell the room, if no one checks in, make the room available This is what helps your customer scale, because now these rooms are much better used. I'll give you an example. Our office is moving to San Jose from Newark, California, not the one in New Jersey. And I was there. I had to do a meeting. There was only a couple of rooms left because the third floor was already shut down. So what do I see? I see a room. It's scheduled for a 10 a.m. meeting. Not a soul in the office on that floor. And I can't use the room. But because I saw the scheduler, I know it's going to check out after 5 minutes. But I actually checked out on behalf of the room. And now I was able to use that conference room, right? So there's many scenarios where this becomes, it pays for itself within a matter of days for many organizations, right? And there's so many use cases, being able to easily find a room that is available, right? I can go here. These are all booked, right? And it's such an easy solution to install. It's a single PoE connection. It can do Wi-Fi. It comes in 2 different colors. It's also a much larger display, right? Our room controller is 10 inches compared to a lot of them out there that are 8. Same thing with the scheduler. It's a 10-inch display. Good question. Yeah, let's continue, Chris.
Right, let's go. So Jared asks, does Logitech provide the AICC as shown below the slides? The closed captioning that you're doing, is that being generated from Logitech?
No, that's just PowerPoint.
Okay. Jared, there's the answer to that. All right. We have another question coming in from Anonymous. Are there plans for Logitech Tap IP to be available for Google Meet hardware, or will it only be the regular Tap?
I love this question. So one, definitely come to the Infocom booth if you can, because we may have an appliance demo for Google Meet. That's still up in the air. And I think at launch, the answer is definitely no, but I've bucked the Google Alliance team on that. I am sure that that's something that is going to be eventually on their roadmap. We just can't share any time frame on that.
I can't tell if that is a teaser, if that's a spoiler. I
It's
can
a
put a
teaser.
label.
It's a
I
teaser.
love it. Huh? Yeah. Hey, but speaking of this, you know what's coming? It's already working. I also have a Google behind here. Scribe is coming very, very, very soon. It's already working on my side to Google Meet as well. So, but more
Awesome.
teasers at Infocom. We got a lot coming, guys. So, and
Okay. All right.
And next question.
Next question is coming in from Bob. Bob asks, we seem to have reliability issues with MTR Windows NUC systems. Assuming we don't need features not available on the Android platform, would the Roommate be a good replacement from a reliability standpoint, i.e. don't have to update drivers and Windows settings, etc.?
He stole my thunder. Bob stole my thunder. But good question, good comments. There's a lot in that question. Let's first talk about parity. So there is still a tiny parity gap. It's been shrinking. One parity gap is Scribe. Scribe is not supported for Microsoft Teams on Android. It is coming this summer. I know we've been saying this for a long time. This is what we're hearing. And this time I feel a lot more confident kind of sharing this. But again, not a specific time, date. And it's a partnership between Logitech, and it could still shift. But that's what we're really aiming for. That is the biggest difference from a parity perspective. The other parity thing is that right now, HDMI ingest, which tends to be a little bit more important for Teams versus Zoom. Now, Teams has gone a long way doing cast and wireless. The HDMI ingest on the tab right now on Roommate or Rally Bar is not yet officially supported. It works for a lot of customers, but we're not announcing that yet because we need more customers to be on a newer firmware version. We foresee that coming also this summer. Now, that being said, you can run the HDMI ingest off the Rally Bar or off the Roommate and just run an HDMI extender. That's the parity question. Now, you nailed it, right? We see so many IT decision makers that less, is more in a way, right? Room solutions with a PC required to do a BIOS update. I just had to do one for another trade show. There's driver updates. There's just more maintenance that is required. It's also another, component that's outside a purpose-built solution, right? Collab OS, which is on our Android platform, which we completely stripped down. That's where we're also a little bit different than what we see on competitors. We gutted Android 10. It's empty. It basically is bare bone with our Collab OS on it. With Roommate, it really simplifies that. And without getting into the details, which you can read between the lines, and some of that you can already see, we own the operating system with Collab OS, right? So we can do a lot more functions, and there's more things coming this summer from an IT perspective. So you can think of being able to remotely configure the roommate. So maybe the partner is on site installing it, but someone from IT can configure it remotely. That's something we can offer right now already with roommates. So there's a lot of additional flexibility. The one other thing is multicam right now with Teams is not yet supported on appliance-based solutions. So think of Scribe and multicam. But other than that, if those are not the drivers and the HDMI, which is coming, and the customer can even wait for that, I would say definitely go with the roommate. Great question. We'll get to the next one.
Next question from Bob, who asks, how can we purchase replacement MTR NUCs separately without a tap panel? Customer needs to replace NUCs, already has the tap in place. How do we do that?
Warranty first, contact our support team first. Let's see if it's still under the 2 years. They're usually not sold separate. We can make exception depending on how many rooms are impacted. A lot of times they're not sold separate, and that's because Logitech and our partner with Zoom and Teams, we want to protect that these computes just get out there in the Wild West without any conferencing solution, right? So that's what I would start with, and then if you run into troubles, then reach out back to the Starin team, and then we can work with them and get this resolved.
Awesome. Tom asks, does the tap ship with a power supply?
The tap does. It comes with a Cat5e kit, which is really category 5 over USB. It's a USB extender, right? Tap IP, we're not shipping anything. It's a PoE device, just like Scheduler. You already could have a PoE drop there. And if you don't, maybe you're going to purchase one that's a different cable length. So the IP devices don't come with cables or, a PoE injector. The tap USB definitely comes with its own kit and Cat5 cables. But of course, it can support up to 131 feet. We're not going to ship a 131-foot cable. I think it's a 20-foot and a 7-foot cable in totality. Don't quote me exactly on that, but you can extend that as long as it's Cat5e shielded. So.
Awesome. Skip asks, can Tap IP control both Zoom and MS Room systems?
Yes. Here's the difference. This is a great question because Zoom allows us to certify Tap IP for PC bundles and appliance. And Microsoft Teams at today, and this is not just Logitech, they only support IP controllers, meaning Tap IP, for Microsoft Teams on Android. So if it's a Windows, it must be a Windows controller. And a little note, you need a controller. So on appliance, you can actually configure it without a controller, which makes sense if it's a touch panel. I always recommend to use a controller, but those are a couple of nuances to keep in mind. Great question.
Awesome. Next one's not a question, Aaron. We love Heckler too. We carry them. That is a great partnership for both Logitech and for Starin. So thank you for the kudos. Tim asks,
here's the Logitech mounts.
Is Logitech offering any solutions to allow for HDMI content ingest that would be at the compute engine or at the Microsoft room-based, the Windows-based systems?
That is, the answer is yes, but it's done through the tap, not on the compute itself, right? That's where our appliance-based solutions have that built in. The computes are still built by other partners, and it's not something you really see in the industry, right? And it's also a little bit more complex, right? It's really a Windows machine that runs Teams in a kiosk. So there is just no HDMI ingest on that. So that's where tap is great. And I would love to hear, I think what the question is because they would love to have that HDMI ingest at the front of the room. Then I would say maybe evaluate going with appliance-based, like Bob is going to do.
I'm going to jump ahead. I'm going to go to a couple other questions, kind of more questions than anything else or comments. Garrett wants to do some cardboard stand-up of himself to attend meetings. That'd be great. We'd all love that. All the technology that's being invented. Where is our stand-in? I would love to have a stunt double to stand in for my any meeting that has to do with finance.
I should have.
Not my forte, Garrett. The next question that came in from Garrett, really cool, interesting technology. Thank you, sir, for that. For that comment. Jared is excited for Sight because he sees it as an inclusion, a game changer for inclusion. So he's very excited for that. Go back to Bob. Tim Oh, Bob has a
before we go back
question.
to Bob.
I'm just going to lump all of Bob's questions together because Bob has 3 questions already.
Bob's on fire. 5,000
Yes,
bonus points for Bob.
Absolutely. Tim Matta asks, will Logitech site be compatible as a secondary camera in an environment with Zoom rooms powered by or powered off a Mac Mini with a Rally PTZ camera, but using Shure mic? Wow, that is specific.
I love it.
Tim has also attached the the CAD drawings for the room and the name of the customer. No, I'm kidding. Is that possible? Will site work compatibly as a secondary?
So at first, we're gonna first start with one site. The goal is then eventually to maybe add a second site, and site will also eventually be compatible with Rally PTZ. You're not going to get that same immersive AI director. It's going to be more composite. We need to use our audio on that note. That being said, I can't comment on that, but stay tuned for updates. That use case may eventually come. I can't really comment on that. That would be much later down the road, because with DSP comes speakers and audio, and a lot of that is something we have to keep in mind. But that will time will tell. But it's definitely, we want to make it more and more compatible. We're going to start with the core experience and build it out.
Sounds good. Michael asks, with the TAP or TAP IP, can they work with third-party controller processors and have a customized GUI from controls?
Wow, double question. So first, TAP IP, TAP USB can work with other platforms. Like if it's not our certified compute, right, the Intel NUC or Lenovo, or with partnership with Dell, keep in mind, right, it needs a display link driver. So you may need to make sure that the TAP, like the USB, is the primary display. So if you're not using our corporate compute, right, and that can still be tied into a competitor's camera, right, you may have to make some changes. TAP IP is just through the cloud, so we don't care. It's just going to work, right? And then there was another piece in that question that I just slipped my mind. Can you rewind there? There was another part. It was
about making customized GUIs.
Yes. So that is up on, the video service provider, right? I can change the background and also show that on here with Zoom. With Teams, it's a different story, right? I can have digital signage on my Zoom room. With Teams, that is just not there yet. I'm sure they're probably working on that, but it really depends on the video service provider. Now, Teams on Windows, you can kind of hack it with an XML file. I'm not going to get into that, but you can change the wallpaper. I know they're kind of speaking high level on customizing it, starting probably with company's brand logo. So stay tuned for that, but that's more of a Microsoft question. Yep. Zoom can do a lot of that already. I've changed my beautiful background here.
Yep. In response to the TAP question with the power supply, Tom says that his TAP is part of a Rally kit, showed up without a power supply.
Because it actually comes with a Cat5e kit, which is a white PoE injector. I'm not sure if I have it here. If he had really old stock, it could have been a TAP USB kit. Sorry for all this noise.
Gentlemen, ladies, I have to jump because I have another call. I'm really, really sorry. But Pike's answering all the questions. I just want to quickly say thank you. It was a great presentation, discussion, Pike, but I'm 5 minutes late for an internal call. So
got you covered, Mike.
Later.
No worries.
All right, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
So this should have come with the TAP. If it didn't, if it was recently purchased, I would say circle back with the Starin team. We need to, see was it a closed box? I have a lot of questions on this because this was included. There's just 2 different ways of connecting it. You have this adapter and then the wall adapter. So,
so let's get Bob's questions lined up here. Did I understand that the TAP panel can connect to a controller wirelessly without a point-to-point CAT cable?
Yeah, so the TAP can do wireless, and so can scheduler. You just get this could also be a PoE injector. You get any PoE injector, feed it power, and connect it to Wi-Fi.
Okay. Is it possible
That's how these
to
are
send
connected.
The next question is it possible to send a whiteboard touchscreen to an MTR as content similar to what Scribe does with a USB cable?
So Microsoft supports, like I could run a full Microsoft room on here with a touch panel and it will do the whiteboarding. They've recently made some changes to Microsoft Teams and it now has a really good experience when it comes to digital whiteboarding. So that's natively already supported by Microsoft Teams for both Windows and appliance now, but they've fine-tuned the appliance solution. So the answer is yes. Coming back to the customization, what I didn't answer there is the tab. Right, the room controller cannot be customized. Like the only customization that you can see is a partnership with Extron or QSys, and that's where you want to do like climate control, right, and environmental controls, and that's a flip page. That's the only customization specifically to those manufacturers. But the whole GUI is owned by the actual video service provider.
Awesome, Bob. We weren't going to let you down. I'm extending this. I've canceled my next meeting. We're gonna muscle through this for you and get this done. Okay, so we're gonna answer your questions and have it done live. Bob then asks: Is the site only for Zoom rooms? Is it for Teams? Will it be for Teams?
Both, and Google as well.
Google is future or available at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I think at InfoCom we'll be able. We're aiming to showcase the Teams and Zoom experience. And
right.
To follow.
Bob just posted up. Thank you. I guess appreciative that we're getting these questions answered. No problem. That's what we're here for. Sure. All right. Got some last comments, questions, whatever, all from various anonymous attendees. When would you consider roommate versus IoT?
Roommate versus IoT is okay. Yeah. So let me, for the rest of the audience, roommate versus a PC based bundle. Well, I asked that question to the customer. What's important to them, right? Right now, it's still bringing the parity gap. If they don't need Scribe, if they don't need HDMI ingest, roommate could be a great experience because from a management perspective for IT, the end user, it doesn't really impact them as much. It could also help the partner if they want HDMI ingest at the front of the room, instead of the room controller, right? So it's a case by case. It's not one is better than the other. It really depends on your customer's needs. I did see a question about the partnership. I want to focus on, we are really talking about our Zoom partnership, but Microsoft, Google, Ring Central, we have very strong Tencent in Asia. We have many different partnerships. Microsoft is, our biggest partner, and Zoom, is just as much part of that partnership. We have a dedicated Teams Alliance team, right? We have a dedicated Zoom Alliance team. So just because we're covering a lot on Zoom today, we work with all of these video service providers. But great question. That
answers the question for the partnership. And as far as somebody else, I guess, I don't know if it's the same person or whatever, is again saying that the reps, hard to connect with some of the reps. So that's a question that Michael's taken back to the team to
and we need to work on that. Yeah, we'll make sure
not a problem. So we thank everybody who has hung out and stayed this time through. This is probably our longest town hall that we've had in a very, very, very long time. You will be the record holder there, Pike.
Or not.
So we're just going to call it Pike's Peak going at this point. That will be the official record. How can you top this one? I know how we're going to top this. We're going to announce a $50 card winner.
And we're going to do site, the next eventually we'll do a site webinar.
Absolutely. So the next, before we get to the next town hall and thanking everybody, the $50 Amazon card winner, as spun by producer Mark, is Timothy Matta. Congratulations, sir. You have won the $50 Amazon gift card. Producer Mark will be in touch with you to get the information and get that information over to you. Thank you so much for being a part of this call. So the next thing that we have, just a quick reminder, everybody, we did the raffle. Just a quick reminder, if you guys have any questions regarding Logitech and you're having a hard time understanding who to contact or who to reach out to, we do have here at Starin internally, we have a brand manager. Brandy Nellis who is responsible for Logitech and all things Logitech. You can reach out to her. Her contact information is on the slide right here. Brandy takes care of all the stuff. So if you have an issue, if you have a concern that you need to get, if you need product, if you need pricing, whatever you need, Brandy works directly with Logitech from Starin. So obviously your Cam is who you work with for the sale. Brandy is who works with Logitech and the cams internally. So we do provide that information. So you have multiple sources of points of contact. If you have any questions on technical side, just a reminder, Starin does have an engineering team that is that is dedicated to all things UC and all things that Starin carries. These are not just people that have been elevated from God knows where. These are CTS and CTSDs. They are certified designers, planners, and experts in their field. So we do have that ability to handle a lot of the Q&As right internally. And obviously we can escalate it to a higher level and bring in the entire Logitech team if necessary. And
Last question for you, Chris.
And that's, sir?
Sorry, are we sharing the recording? That was the last question. Then we're done.
Yes, we will be sharing the recording. Yes, we are sharing it. Give us a couple of days. We cut it in the front, cut it in the back. All we're doing is just making it look really nice, and we're adding our intro music and our outro tones and some other stuff. But that is all fancy. That's what our videographer will do and editor does to this. It makes it look good. You'll find it on our YouTube channel, so look for it there. It will also be in an email that goes out with all the information that you need regarding this and other products and things that we have. So if you're going to receive the email, my doorbell's about to ring one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a Starin Town Hall featuring Logitech. Look for us coming not only here, we are on our way to InfoComm, so be prepared. We're going to take you all through the Logitech booth at InfoComm, because that was announced here that they will have a massive presence at the show, and they're bringing new stuff. So thank you so much again for listening. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Starin Town Hall.